on, all you funky YouTubers out there and all you vape heads out there? This is Zach, aka Zeo Fox, and today I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to rebuild yourself a Kanger Pro Tank 2 coil. If you are a rebuildable kind of guy and you use the drippers and the RDAs, then this, my friend, is the tutorial for you. First off, in front of me, I've got a smorgasbord worth of tools and just random things that I use. Micro pliers. These would be the micro needle nose pliers. I use a set of nail clippers, a very small flathead screwdriver, and the larger flathead screwdriver from your standard jeweler's kit, a pair of wire cutters, Q-tips, cotton ball, 28 gauge. I use 28 gauge kanthol. You don't necessarily have to, but I like the way it works, so it works for me. And I use a push pin. You know, just a regular old, thumbtack push pin type deal that you would use in any old corkboard. And then, of course, you're gonna need your Pro Tank 2. Alright, first off, this is the bottom of your Pro Tank 2, the housing and whatnot. Now, I have noticed that these coils do last roughly 2 to 3 weeks, depending on what type of juice you use. Now, the reason why I have Q-tips out is because, I don't know if you can tell or not, but there's a little bit of juice in there. So, there you go. First things first, nice and clean and shiny. Alright, now let's get to disassembling the coil itself. Alright, now what you're going to want to do is, because there's probably going to be juice on it already, as I just take a small one sheet of toilet paper and just wipe it down. Gets any excess juice off. And then you just rock this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, till it comes off into 2 pieces. Now I always slide this little rubber stopper off and put that aside, as well as the little top piece. And then, if you take a look, it looks all black inside. That's because your coil has since used up its entire life. So, that's why you need the little tiny screwdriver. What you're going to do is you're just going to go in there and pry off the top layer of whatever you used for your wick. See, I used cotton. So, now that that's off, yeah, it's nasty in there. I know the camera won't pick it up, so put that down. Next step is on the base. You're going to see you've got little top cap, and then a little rubber piece, and then you've got your main body. So you've got your top cap, your little rubber piece, and then the main part of your base. What you're gonna do is hook your fingernails up underneath, and that came out way easy. Pull out that little bottom plug. Set it off to the side. Next, you're going to want to grab your mini needle nose, and you're going to go and gently pull out the rubber piece. Woohoo, rubber piece out. And then once you're, whoopsie there. Once that's out, you're going to flip it back over so that the top where this piece came or sits on top, you're going to go over and you're going to try and get it out. Normally what I do is, see how it's got this little piece of wick on the side? Just grab that with your pliers and pull straight out. You dirty coil. And that's your dead dirty coil. And this may or may not be clean. If I generally just take that second Q-tip or so and just run it through just to make sure it's clean and free of debris and all of that. Now I will have to note that I do not have an ohm meter, so I won't be able to tell you exactly what it is, but I can give you a rough guesstimate because of how many times I've done this. And the only reason why I'm doing a tutorial now is because I've done this so many times that I feel confident that I can explain it and not make you all like, huh? What you doing? So, next off, you're going to want roughly 4 inches or so of kanthol. Again, I'm using 28 gauge, and that seems to work nicely. I got my buddy's borrowing my MVP2 right now, so I won't be able to test it on that, but I will be using the Stingray for it. I mean, it works fine, just as good. I mean, you just have to be careful of how long you hold the button down. So, set that to the side. Alright, set all the little components to the side. Phenomena. And then, you grab your little push pin. This is the absolute perfect size to get you a small enough coil to get in there and give you a decent ohm reading. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, what you're going to do, you're going to take the push pin in your hands, line up the wire kind of like this. Granted, it's not going to be straight, but it'll straighten itself out. Just watch. You're going to hold it like this, and then you're going to start wrapping your coil. Now you're going to want to go kind of out and then in, out, then in. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, I have learned that 10 wraps will give me about 1.1, 1.2 ohms. See how it's kind of a little off? Well, we're going to fix all that. We're going to take it and just use your fingernail and press it down to the base. What you're going to do is you're going to flip it around, slide it back through, and then press it down to the base. And then press it down to the base. Do this a few times and you'll see that the coil will hold its shape down there. Just like that. Yay! what we're going to do is we're going to straighten these leads up a little bit. And after we do that, I'm going to trim this one down so they're about even, so I don't have so much excess to deal with. After that, we take our main body part of the coil. We're going to fish our wires through, and then that's where this comes in. This is going to slide through nicely and provide you with a way to hold it in place while you bend your leads over and get them set up for cleanup. I use the nail clippers because they get me closer than the actual wire cutters. So you just snip the one lead and leave the other one hanging. Then you're going to take your little rubber piece and fish that long lead through the center of that little rubber grommet, and then force the rubber piece gently back into the center of the coil. Takes a little bit of finagling. See, I've done this like 6, 7, 8 times now, and it's still difficult for me to get this centerpiece in. Sweet. Now that that's done, I can pull the screwdriver out, and that coil is not going anywhere. And then just bend the center part of your coil over, grab your trusty handy dandy nail clippers and trim that lead right up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that center post, this guy, and put it right in the middle. Gently work it in. And then if you have any excess that might short out, just go back with the nail clippers and just trim them up a little bit. Voila! And you, my friend, have a coil inside your Pro Tank 2 coil head. Then you just take your small flathead screwdriver and make sure that it doesn't touch the case wall at all. After you verify that it doesn't, you take your cotton ball, unwind it a little bit. Don't need much because of how small the coil is. Now I'm using 100% organic cotton. And you just take a small little bit and twist it together till you get a nice tight little spiral. And then you take it and then you fish it through the coil. Careful not to pull too terribly hard. Just tug on it a little bit, and once you get it through, about, I would say probably about ½ an inch, 3/4 of an inch or so. Since I don't have any scissors, I'm just going to use my wire cutters and just snip it off. Then go to the other side, snip it off right about to where the edge of the, I guess you could say, lip for the coil is. So that way it looks like this when you get done. So after you do that, what I usually do is I take a little piece of this, just roll it up a little bit, not too much, and I take this and I throw it right on top. The reason why I do this is because I've noticed that if I do it this way, it doesn't leak like at all. Provides a good barrier between this and the bottom, very, very, very bottom of the coil. So that way it doesn't leak and get on onto anything. Cut that off nicely. And there you go. Here you have a rebuilt coil. Before you do anything, I want to come over and get a little bit of your juice that you decide to use. I'm going to be using M cubed from Insane E-Liquid. And just getting your wick wet with juice. That way when you first fire up this coil, it doesn't basically dry hit it and make it taste like complete and total butt. So you're going to take this, and this just press fits right on top. And then you put your rubber grommet over top and smush that down right on top. Take your base and then screw the two together, and Bob's your uncle, you've got yourself a rebuilt Kanger coil, Kanger Pro Tank 2 coil, I should say. Voila. It's easy, like I said it was. Yeah, I know it's a mess over here. You're gonna have to bear with me. I do live by myself right now, so what can you do? Works like a champ. Works like a freaking champ. I remember. I need to clean that drip tip out. So, just go and grab a new one. Absolutely great. Oh, that is so nice. So nice, tasty, and flavorful, especially for running on a mech mod. Now, I know most people say, oh, don't you use the Kanger tanks on the mechs, because this, that, or the other. But, still, no battery rattle. No battery rattle whatsoever. Still blows a decent amount of cloud. Still does exactly as advertised. And you did it yourself. So, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and watching even more of my outrageous and probably stupid videos. But, what can you say? This has been my little tutorial on how to rebuild your Pro Tank 2 coils. Don't forget, live long and vape strong. I will see you, all of you out there, on the other side of the interwebs. Take her easy.